Good evening, viewers, and now we are live. First of all, thank you for those who set a reminder on your notification to join us tonight live session with my guests from various Pencak Silat Federation or association representing their countries. So welcome once again, and we are grateful to our viewers for keeping up with us on all our social medias platform and joining us for today's live. So before I introduce my VIPs for tonight, feel free to drop us some questions throughout the show. So I'll bring up the questions to the panelists and they will be able to address accordingly. And I have here with me Dr. Sheikh Alauddin Yaakob Marikan, PBM, President of Asian Pencak Silat Federation, and also sitting in the Persilat Task Force and Steering Committee. To start off today's session, let me invite the President of Asian Federation to share his opening address.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Madam Asia, and to all presidents of Pencak Silat in the world. Thank you very much for being together for our live, YouTube live, initiated by Singapore Silat Federation. I think it's a good move for us to come together and share our knowledge, share our development. We have went through a various YouTube live with international athlete, international coaches, international referees, and now it comes with the international presidents representing your federation. I think it's going to be a fruitful for us to discuss for 2 hours, and I thank you everyone again for coming together to be with us in this YouTube live. Thank you very much. I pass to you back, Asia.
Thank you, Dr. Sheikh. So here at today's live session, we have various group leaders from National Pencak Silat Federation from all over the world. We have from Algeria, we have from Australia, we have from Indonesia, India, Morocco, Pakistan, Philippines, and we are expecting some more to come. So to start off this conversation, I would like to open to the floor to get my guests to introduce yourself, share your name, your organization, and maybe on how do you first start Pencak Silat in your country. Maybe I can start with Algeria, please. Can you unmute yourself, please? Thank you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm so happy to be with you today. And thank you very much for this invitation. I will introduce our Pencak Silat in Algeria. I've been in Algeria since 2014. It was our choice to practice Pencak Silat. It's pleasure for our country to practice this style because it's very, very now Pencak Silat in Algeria is very popular. Now we have approximately 3,000 athletes who practice Pencak Silat in Algeria and in 14 states. As you know, Algeria is very, very big country. It's 2 million kilometers square, and we have 3,000 athletes. It's very big work we do in Algeria. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Algeria, for sharing. Next, maybe I can get from Australia. Mr. Les, maybe you can unmute. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for inviting me on behalf of IPFS, Pencak Silat Federation, Australia. Yes, we are at the moment active with the Pencak Silat. We still try to promote the Pencak Silat throughout New Zealand and the island around of Australia. But at the moment, due to the pandemic, it is slowing down a little bit in our movement to promote Pencak Silat. So as you know, Australia is very big continent, islands, and we have sort of about 6 area like Canberra, New South Wales, Victoria, Adelaide, and Queensland. Thank you.
Wow, I miss having my holiday in Australia. So
Ah.
hopefully, Dr. Sheikh, you can clear my leave. I want to go back to Australia. All right, next, maybe I can invite from Philippines.
Oh, hi. Good evening to everybody. I'm Einer Kandor, and I'm so glad to be part of this discussion. I am the Secretary General of Silat Sports Association, the National Sports Association of Pencak Silat athletes and coaches nationwide here in the Philippines. I've been part of Silat Sports Association since its founding years way back in 2013. And I've been serving for the past 6 years now as the Secretary General. And I'm so happy and elated to be sharing ideas uh, to everyone, especially now with the new rules and with the upcoming SEA Games in Hanoi. We're so excited to be part of that biennial event. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mabuhay.
Mabuhay. Thank you, Mr. Ainer. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Rana Abdul Majid from Pakistan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum to all of you. Hello. I'm Rana Abdul Majid, President Pakistan Pencak Silat Federation. We have started Pencak Silat in 2010. In 2009, we contact with Mr. Sheikh Alauddin. I am elder than Mr. Sheikh by age, but he is my teacher and a fatherly figure for me. He accept us, he invite us, he bear total expenditures of our delegation and give us training. And then my background is I have 40-year experience of martial art. I was 7 dan in Taekwondo. I was Khao Chi Khao Grandmaster in Wushu. Then I commit with Mr. Sheikh that I will dedicate it my whole of life for the promotion of Pencak Silat in Pakistan. So many times I'm saying this, that before 2010, nobody knows the name of Pencak Silat even in Pakistan. And now, Alhamdulillah, Pakistan Pencak Silat Federation is in the top 5 martial art organizations in Pakistan. And Alhamdulillah, we have last championship in Quetta, Balochistan. There were 13 teams from the all provinces and the governmental department like Pakistan Army, Pakistan Railway, Pakistan Police, Pakistan WAPDA. WAPDA is Water and Power Development Authority, which is very good department for the athletes, giving too much money to the athletes. So now we are working for the promotion of Pencak Silat in also not only Pakistan but also in South Asia. Mr. Iqbal is in a very close touch with me, and Mr. Durje Lama is working very good in Nepal. Mr. Tahmeed in Bangladesh is working very good in Bangladesh. So Alhamdulillah, we have a very good position and situation of Pencak Silat in South Asia. And Pakistan, you know, as per Article 6 of the Constitution of Pakistan Olympic Association, you could not be the member of Olympic Association if you must have 4 provincial association affiliated with the Provincial Olympic Association and 4 departments, government department, and then you will be the member of one. And for a provincial association, you have 3 clubs in all districts. Like Punjab, we have 36 districts, and we have all in 33 clubs in 36 districts. We can prove it, and then we get the letter from the Punjab Sports Board and Punjab Olympic Association. So I am thankful to. And secondly, I want to say the Indonesian embassy help us a lot. They invite me, they invite my teams, they invite us on the celebrations. Even last day, they sent me sweets on with the Eid card of the Eid celebration. I'm thankful to because Mr. Benny and Mr. Teddy, they both are recommended me, and the ambassador asking him about me. They said, yes, Mr. Rana is our representative, and he is on his suggestion. We are celebrating 11th March as World Panchak Silat Day. And in Pakistan, we are celebrating this year in 25 cities. We celebrate the World Panchak Silat Day, cutting the cakes, rallies, and championships. So thank you very much for my leaders, Sheikh Alauddin. He is my fatherly figure, my teacher. He helped us a lot, Mr. Benny, Mr. Teddy, and Bappa Prabowo Subianto. And I'm proud. I'm proud that I'm part of a big family, part of a graceful family. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, Mr. Rana. That was a tremendous milestone you have achieved for the past 12 years. So let's hear from Netherlands, Mr. Oliver Blanket, or should I call you Mr. B? Shorter and
okay.
easier.
That's okay. No problem. Thank you very much. I'm Olivier Blankaert, president of the Netherlands Pencak Silat Federation. Pencak Silat in the Netherlands has a very long heritage. It started after the colonial time in Indonesia, I think in the late 40s, beginning of the 50s, when the migration began from Indonesia to the Netherlands. Until today, the Netherlands Pencak Silat Federation has between 45 and 50 clubs all over the country. So in almost all major cities, we have representatives, although it's still a bit difficult to get them all to the tanding aspect, because there are a lot of them are doing the traditional aspect, so not too much involved with tanding. So that's our main target, to be able to increase that. Also for us in Europe, as one of the main countries in Europe with Pencak Silat, we have the difficulties to get acknowledgement of Olympic committees, because it's not an Olympic sport in Europe. So we don't get any funding or support. But as my other fellow presidents, I'm very proud to be a member of this big Pencak Silat family. And we hope to help wherever needed to put Pencak Silat on the big world map as one of the main sports. And of course, help wherever needed in our road to Olympics. Thank you.
It's saddening that you don't get much support from your government. Maybe in the later segment, you'll be able to share more about this. We would love to hear about this. Then next, can I hear from Bapak Teddy Suratmaji, who's here today representing IPSI? Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
I'm sitting here representing IPSI, Indonesia Pencak Silat Federation, because on the national convention last December last year, I was elected as a Secretary General of the IPSI. So now I'm sitting here in capacity of NF. I think everyone knows the story of Pencak Silat, because Indonesia is one among four founding countries of Pencak Silat. But since a new committee of IPSI, now the situation in Pencak Silat in Indonesia is getting better and better, because the working relationship between Persilat and IPSI now, of course, is very good now, because same person. The president of uh, the Ketua Harian or acting president. She now is Mr. Benny, and the Secretary General now is myself. So IPSI means Persilat and Persilat means IPSI now. Okay, of course, this is very important in terms of supporting Persilat toward Olympics. Yeah? In terms of applying new competition regulation, because without supporting from all NF, it's just impossible. Now Persilat now getting a very big support from IPSI, so I believe this will give a very good and beneficial for us. I think that not so much a story from Indonesia, because you all know Indonesia is the one of the founding country of the Persilat. So again, I'm here representing IPSI. Don't talk about Persilat with me. Thank you.
All right, I take note on not to talk about Persilat with you. So for Bapak Teddy, you're holding lots of roles, juggling IPSI and Persilat. So kudos. So next, can I invite from India, Mr. Iqbal?
Hello, good evening and Assalamu alaikum. I'm Muhammad Iqbal from Kashmir, India, and I'm working as a Chief Executive Officer in Indian Pencak Silat Federation. As everybody knows that it was not a huge time for us to just take up this sport, take over from the other persons, and it was Mr. Sheikh Alauddin sir who support us at the time, and then later from Perslat, Mr. Teddy and Benny, they also support us to be a part of the Perslat family and Asian Federation family. We start in 2014 and in between 2014 and in 2015. And since the progress of Pencak Silat is very visible, and everybody knows that India is growing too much, and we are right now working in every corners, and we are recognized by the government of India, sports ministries, and of course, we are working with the National Olympic Committee also. Uh, the multi-sports event held since our participation, our membership with the Perslat and the Asian Federation. We took all the championships. We play all the championships, and we try to improve our standard day by day. And in regard to the new rules and regulations, we really appreciate that our students are taking up the sport with the new rules and regulation, and they have followed the Google videos and the latest rules on the YouTube, and I think they are taking up this those rules very nicely. And right now, the Indian Pencak Silat Federation is a huge in India, like the other federations who have worked here since 20, 30 years. They did achieve the same status and standard in 30 years. But our federation, by the grace of Almighty Allah, we just cover those milestones in just 5, 6 years. And now we have started one more edition, that is para. I think we are the first one who have started the para sport in Pencak Silat, and we are also following so many things, and the things will be discussed in the whole meeting, so that one by one we will just unveil our agendas and our developments. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Iqbal. Despite your federation is just like 7 years, but
Right.
I've seen like lots of activities that you guys have organized. Yep, keep up the good work. Yeah, and last but not least, I have here with me is from Bangladesh. Yep.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
I am SM Tahmidul Haq, Secretary General of Bangladesh Pencak Silat Association. Thanks to my dear third guardian, Sheikh Alauddin sir, and our subcontinent who are the fellow mayors and representative guardian, elder brother, who provide me some suggestion to promote the Pencak Silat in Bangladesh, how to development. And at first, thanks to Almighty Allah that I got the responsibility on 2019, and previously who representative who was the representative in Bangladesh in Pencak Silat, I heard that I found him that he was multi-purpose martial art in promoting in Bangladesh, Jujutsu, Karate, and so and so. But I saw a little bit promoting the Pencak Silat, and that's for reason our guardian, Asian Pencak Silat Federation President Sheikh Alauddin sir, and given me the responsibility how to promote core Pencak Silat. So I think it's my challenge how to promoting. But at present, I'm facing some trouble, impediment in Bangladesh. Those are people are knocking sometimes that they are promoting the Pencak Silat. Last day, they have arranged the national Jujutsu. After 2 hours or 1 hour, they are promoting the Pencak Silat. I don't know how can they are doing. I think I am here in meeting. I am just recommended to Mr. Alauddin sir. Please, I think those who were they did not promoting the core martial art in Pencak Silat. We should get from some recommendation or acknowledgement from the Asian Pencak Silat and Parsilat. Those are people are not involved in Pencak Silat member in promoting or core key person. And thank you to Sheikh Alauddin sir. 2020 in pandemic, I arranged a national championship. 2021, I arranged another national Pencak Silat in Bangladesh, and it is glad to know that Begum Rokia University in Rangpur in Bangladesh, they are promoting Pencak Silat in their as a part of sports, and they have written in UGC University Granted Commission. If we pray to Allah that if we achieve or approval from the UGC, I think all over the Bangladesh university will be promote the Pencak Silat. It's our very great achievement. And also I submitted, I working at under the Bangladesh Confederation, Martial Confederation, and also I separate the submitted for the affiliation to Bangladesh Olympic Council and National Sports Council. They are trying to sitting to with us the how to approval it, and what is the comparative or difference from the other martial art and Pencak Silat, and it is, there is Taekwondo, Wushu are very pioneer in Bangladesh, and Pencak Silat as promoting is fourth or fifth place maybe, and I organize different type of voluntary activities. So representative, I arrange 250 people who are training Pencak Silat in our Bangladesh. It's my great management with in pandemic. After pandemic, it's my great success, and I have so inshallah we will participate in World Pencak Silat Championship 2022 in Malacca, Malaysia. And I need also a course 7 days or 3 days. If Asian Pencak Silat Federation or Sheikh Alauddin sir help me, I will be. It will be very glad, very helpful to us to develop those guys who are attending Pencak Silat in World Championship in 2002. And all over, Alhamdulillah, we are trying at level by best by cooperation, Sheikh Alauddin sir and Indian Iqbal sir and Rana Abdul Majid sir and so and so. And also thanks our Indonesian Pencak Silat. Also they are promoting PSHT, Parsudan Satria. They are trying to give us a giving me a coach as for only for tending. At yet I did not accept his offer. I am waiting for our guardian Sheikh Alauddin sir. If he give me a suggestion, I will go his way. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Tahmidul Haq. That's a lot of information actually. Maybe for any I understand there's like each federation will face obstacle when running or managing or overseeing the whole pencak silat activities in your own countries. So we will address that topics in one of the segment. So for now, I have from Yemen and from Morocco in here, but I'm not sure whether they are ready to share their stories. From Yemen, I think I have Mr. Hamza. Am I correct? Mr. Hamza, are you there? Okay, it's okay. Maybe in the next segment I can highlight you again. So anyone would like to share your latest development in your country? Does COVID-19 situation affected your programs and activities?
Madam Asia, let me just address first
Can.
Rana and Mr. Tamidul. Okay, I guess it's my responsibility that whatever the request, please make the date for Mr. Tamidul from Bangladesh that I can be in Bangladesh anytime you want me after SEA Games. That means in early June. I can do the training for you so that you can prepare yourself and your team for the World Championship. So you do give me a date or a program for me to travel with a few of my coaches to help you up with your athletes that will be competing in the World Championship in Malacca. And as for Mr. Rana, I would love to see you in Pakistan. Please give me a date anytime so that I can meet your National Olympic Council and of course meet the athletes, meet the student, and of course your family. Anytime for me.
Yes,
within
sir.
June, I would love to travel because July is a World Championship, so I can make a short trip and do some training and meet the beloved family of Pencak Silat in Pakistan and of course Mr. Rana and the family. Okay.
Inshallah, sir. Inshallah. Your family in Pakistan, your brother family in Pakistan. We are after Eid. We have a meeting, general council meeting, maybe in a new election by the requirement of our departments. So inshallah, we will decide, and I submit the request to you, sir.
Okay, that's good. All right. Another thing I just want to highlight. This is something new, big from the oven, and the IOC president is in Singapore. So they have discussed with the president of Singapore, National Olympic Council president, and of course a lot of ministers are with Mr. Bash, and of course the National Olympic Council of the Executive Committee. I have requested to the Sports SG, which in charge for Silat and of course sports in Singapore. Singapore will be hosting most probably, and I guess it will the first Olympic virtual sports festival in early 2023 to put Pencak Silat as one of the activity. So they are considering, and then if that happen, at least we have the taste of Olympics, and I will share with everyone. And please participate in this virtual sports festival that will be hosting in Singapore. Okay, that's sure. I leave it to the moderator.
Madam. Thank you, Dr. Sheikh. I think everyone's looking forward to the event that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. My question just now. What's the latest development of Pencak Silat in your country? Does COVID-19 situation affected programs and activities? Because in Singapore, for the in 2020 we had our circuit breaker where no activities can be held, um, borders was closed, um, wearing mask is compulsory, things like that, so no major gathering. So maybe different country experience different restriction. Maybe anyone would like to share? Sure, Mr. Iqbal.
Yeah, actually, I'm just eager to share my views because after that we have to break our fast, Pakistan, and we have to break our fast. That's why we both will finish first. So as in regard to India Pencak Silat during the COVID-19, the COVID-19 starts, and after just 1 month after we start the events virtually. Our first event was uh, with Singapore. We invite the younger son of Mr. Sheikh to introduce with our Pencak Silat athletes, to share his knowledge with our athletes. That was we didn't know that pandemic will stretch that much of years. We were hoping that it will just stay for some months and will gone away. But later, when we see and we start living with COVID-19, and we start the virtual competitions, we are the first federation in India in the martial arts who start the virtual competitions of artistic in different forms across the India, and we offer athletes to perform and get the cash award in their bank accounts through online. Then we got a huge media coverage from across the India, because we are the first federation who take initiate to conduct such events. And later on, I think most of the national federation of different sports who copied us and who start doing such things. Then it was like a common thing in India. Everybody was conducting the virtual competitions, but we are the first people, first federation who start the competition. Later in March 2021, in the last week, we start the coaches and referees seminar for 4 days, which was supported by the Singapore Federation, and that was huge. 200 participants across the country came down to Kashmir, and they get the knowledge through online with a big screen, like we have the screens in big cinema halls. And the Singapore team was completely cooperating with us, and we did a huge seminar. And the rest of the Indian coaches and referees were physically in the stadium. That was also a new concept for us, and I think for the other countries also. Later, once we finish the competition, we start the championship, senior nationals, where we got around 800 athletes under one roof. It was, we were under COVID, but I took the risk. Why not we will start the competition? And Mr. Sheikh Alauddin sir told me it's like a madness that you are doing such things. But finally we did it. There were so many positive cases, but we hide all the positive cases. When I got the result and my guys were positive, they were staying with me, they were eating with me. I told them, just keep mom, you are not positive. So we did things like that. We live with the COVID, we live with the positive cases, but we never expose that this guy and that athlete is positive. I think I just leave all the things up to Almighty, and just enjoy the COVID people with me every day. And Alhamdulillah, by the grace of Almighty, till now uh, I was not involved in the COVID, despite of living with so many people around 100 200 COVID people were staying with me, eating with me, but I'm the person who didn't get effect from the COVID people. Then after once finish we championship of seniors, and the next day we start the sub juniors, preteen, and juniors, and we got around 1,200 athletes, young, small athletes. That was like it was raining. Players were coming down like rains in the stadium, and it was huge. But the government was completely silent because they know we are doing activity inside, and it was after 2 years but government completely silent, and they didn't came for the raids and other to just poke us to stop the activity. And for 10 days long activities, physical activities, we finish with a huge, and finally we make mind that this COVID is completely nothing, and we will go on and on. Then we announce across the states of India that COVID is nothing. We don't need to stop the activities. And since then, our activities are going on. We did every national championships of every year. We didn't just give break to our national championships. Recently, in the December, we did our preteen, sub junior, and junior, where we got to 1,400 players. And later, we did our senior nationals, where we got 700 players. And then after, we did our Federation Cup. Actually, our championships are widely on Facebook, and everybody is watching our activities. Even Embassy of Indonesia in India, they are also commenting on the Twitters, and Alhamdulillah, we are in. And recently, these are the federation activities we did. That is not very uh, that's easy to conduct the federation activities. But as far as we are working the government of India umbrella, we are right now in Khelo India. Khelo India means to play for India. It's a great initiative of the Prime Minister, and Pencak Silat is one of the part of Khelo India, and our coaches are working. They are paid by the government of India to run the Pencak Silat centers like community coaches, and they are working in the remote areas where nobody have played any sport. But our coaches are paid by 25,000 rupees for each month, and they are getting salary from government directly in their accounts, and they are working for that. And in regard to the universities, Pencak Silat is in the university since last 4 years, and all the Indian universities are playing their athletes. Interesting universities are playing under Association of Indian University, which is the part of FISO. And in regard to the small children's grassroots level, we have in India School Games Federation of India, which is directly affiliated with International School Sports Federation, and we are part of it, and we are getting more and more participation in every year. Actually, SGFI is only working for the grassroots athletes. And in regard to the police uh, and the paramilitary in India, we got in the All India Police Sports Control Board, which is dealing with the policemen and other paramilitary forces in India. And we got recent entry in. They recognize us, and now the Pencak Silat is playing under all the state of police departments. And there are so many paramilitary, around seven paramilitary forces are in India, except Army, Navy, and Air Force. Right now, we are working on these three chapters, but all the other forces, whether they are the state police, they are the paramilitary, we are in, except Army, Navy, and Air Force. We are working on it, and hopefully we will get the entry in the Army, Navy, and Air Force also.
Thank you,
So
Mr. Iqbal.
thank you so much. Okay,
Thank
I
you.
take my time.
Let me give some chance to the rest to share how does COVID-19 affect their silat activities in their country. I want to hear from Australia, because just now Mr. Les did mention that you guys are having lockdown one after another. So does that affect your silat trainings and any other activities, Mr. Les?
Yes, thank you again. As similar as other countries, how COVID affect our activities, especially in Australia, because our continents, the area is so big, and to travel to organize national championship is a long sort of distance from one city to another city. It's like from just the closest is from Canberra and Sydney. Just to travel to Victoria, it takes about 10 hours to drive, and Queensland probably about 25 hours there. So, but cut it short, yes, it's affected so much. It's just starting now. We're able to travel a little bit more loose here, but now, and we're losing so many young athletes at the moment that as they they grow up as teenage, so they 2 years long, they have other activities. So we, despite that, now we try to put it together a new sort of program among all the club and Pencak Silat around Australia under the federation. So first, now we are focusing to develop a wasit juri program, which is we already go through with from Indonesia to go through on that program, and then we want to do the physically program next. We're planning either in Bali or maybe in Singapore. That's to complete the knowledge of wasit juri, and from there the next we are also focusing on coaching, so program, and so we have the other program. We're focusing to start training a new athlete, work towards the Commonwealth game. It will be coming soon in Victoria. So that's another goal that we can focus on, which is within 4 years, we can at least get one athlete from one state that we can support them towards the next Commonwealth game. And then also we have another focus towards the Olympic game. So that's the main focus at the moment, to put us together in check, so we can stay together, keep promoting Pencak Silat. And besides that, before the pandemic, I already start with the New Zealand sort of federation, but now I have to start all over again, come back. But we have the Oceanic game already starting with the badmintons and other game in Victoria. So we are focusing on that area at the moment. So that's so far that we are focusing at the moment now. Unfortunately, we won't be able to join in the World Championship because due to the new technique also that, you know, it's not as easy to apply for the new athletes, and then even for the new coaches, need to learn a lot more about the new technique to apply for that. And so that's part of the obstacles at the moment. But so once we're coming this year and next year, we're really gonna focus on wasit juri and coaches, so we can train the new athlete with the new technique. And then the other part is we focus on the Commonwealth game. That will be in Victoria, Melbourne, and the Olympics. So that will keep us busy then. So that at the moment I can share. Yeah. Besides, we promote Pencak Silat through the school in Australia that learning Indonesian. So the school have a budget to invite us to do workshop around the school. There's quite a number of schools. In Victoria alone, it's about 200 schools study Indonesian. So that's how we promote at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Les, for sharing. I think in Singapore, we back in 2020, we lost some of our athletes also because they have to stop from silat training. They have to do part-time work because lots of people lost their jobs, all because of closure of shops, things like that. So Mr. B from Netherlands, what's how's the situation there during COVID back in 2020? How's your Silat activities?
Well, that's thank you very much for the question. I think it's more or less the same as the others mentioned. In the Netherlands, everything was completely shut down, so there was no sport option whatsoever. We tried to do some virtual activities, and we encouraged all our member schools to do that as well. So some of that took that quite good and started really quick in doing virtual training and keeping some trainings outside, because indoors it was prohibited, and outdoors there were still some options. But for maybe the other presidents, they probably know Netherlands is a cold country, so could be 0 degrees, could be -5, could be 5 degrees. So it depends, depending on the weather. Could be raining, but then not warm rain, but cold rain or snowing. So depending on the weather, we try to do that. And after the small opening last year in 21, we were able to have a big gathering with all kinds of Silat training inside. So we had some tanding training, with some Tunggal training, with some free training. And then we had 200 participants came over from all over the country to join. And it was just inside this small frame that we had, that we could open a little bit. And after that, it was closed down again. But inside that time frame, we had this event with the Indonesian ambassador present, and also the cultural attaché from the Indonesian embassy present. And we were very fortunate that besides that we as Pencak Silat are recognized by the UNESCO, that inside the Netherlands, Pencak Silat is also recognized as cultural heritage. So this besides UNESCO acknowledgement. So we also have our own in the Netherlands acknowledgement as cultural heritage. So that was a very, very good point. And now we're just open for a few months, and we going back to our old program. So we have like 4 to 5 main events in the country that we open up for everybody, for neighbor countries, for everybody who wants to train Pencak Silat, to get everything going again. And it was a good event last month, and the next event is coming in the month of May, organized by the local Peguruans with support of the National Federation. So we are very happy with that.
That's nice to hear. All right. I'm going to ask I'm going to ask Dr. Sheikh. So what kind of support does UPSIF provide to its members throughout the COVID-19 situation?
What kind of support? Basically, we give moral support in terms of we communicate with them, and we try to do as much as possible to encourage them to continue doing their silat and uphold as much as possible, rather than they just want to give up and so on. I know some of them have told me that they don't have the desire to continue. Not even beyond Asian Federation, there is from certain other countries like Brazil and some others. Nevertheless, other than that, I'm always in support of the Asian countries, whoever want to do program courses, or even for referee course, coaching course, or training with the athletes, or even we've been traveling before COVID. I've been traveling to a lot of countries in Asia and all over the world, trying to promote Silat as much as possible. And we do provide some equipments and expertise, see how best that they can also together to develop their federation. So I'm ready. I'm always ready. Anytime, whoever is free and can organize, I would love to come down and support as much, because right now in Singapore, I got the privilege to work with a lot of other association and national bodies, and of course, Silat Federation is supporting very much with the Asian Federation. We will continue doing events, organizing and inviting Asian and world federation to come down and participate as much as possible. And right now we have these new rules, and then we have done so many workshops, courses, and even trials and competition. And we will continue doing it as much as possible. Any countries from Asian or any other countries from the world who want me to support them, of course, I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sheikh. So, to those out there who are interested to set up a Pencak Silat Federation in your own country, you can always drop us a email. Then we will pick up from there and we will explore on how to introduce Pencak Silat in your country. So, since I'm at this question, maybe I can open to non-Southeast Asia countries, because Pencak Silat is popular in Singapore, Malaysia, Brunei, Indonesia, of course. And it in one of the write-ups that I read, it is also believed that Pencak Silat started from the Malay archipelago. So what makes you guys decide to set up and run a Pencak Silat Federation in your country? So maybe this question can be applicable to India, Pakistan, Algeria, and maybe Philippines. Yeah, you guys can take turn.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Maybe I can start. Okay.
Yeah.
What makes actually Pencak Silat is relatively new to the Philippines, as far as I can remember from the late Sultan Jamalul Kiram. He established Pencak Silat as a sport here in the Philippines way back 1990. But I believe Pencak Silat, Philippines being especially the Sulu archipelago, being part of the Southeast Asian region, which actually from the Nusantara culture, which spreads all the way to New Zealand or Papua or New Guinea rather. Some of especially the family of
With
our
demand.
president, the family of our president, Princess Jaisal Kiram, his the royal family actually practices secretly Pencak Silat among the royals. So it has been practiced by the Tausug clan or tribe in the Philippines in southern Mindanao, and but now it's getting popular thanks also to the support of the Asian Pencak Silat Federation and of course of our Persilat International Federation. We are actually now getting stronger in terms of having more young pesilats getting into Pencak Silat, getting different sectors, like especially in the education sector. Uh, a couple of days ago, I just had a meeting with our sports ministry who organized the Palarong Pambansa or national games. We're already talking about resuming Pencak Silat sports in as part of the national games for the early learners from the Ministry of Sports or the Department of Education here in the Philippines. So we're slowly getting back again to to the to the pre-pandemic activities as far as here in the Philippines is concerned. That's it.
Can I ask something?
Sure, Mr. Rana, please.
Yeah. First of all, in Pakistan, we have no notice of COVID. We say, where is COVID? You know, if 100,000 people die in a year in Pakistan in normal days, in COVID there are 50,000 people not dying. So we changed the strategy. The first layer was very strong. and we close our clubs, but in the big cities and in small cities like my town, I was also mayor of that city, the legacy of my father. So we started games in small cities. We arranged many championships. We arranged many tournaments. We arranged Chief Minister of Punjab, and also in Balochistan, people never notice. They said, "Where is the Corona? Where is COVID?" We don't know. We don't want. And secondly, our premier, the former Prime Minister, Mr. Imran Khan, give the very good strategy that a smart lockdown. There's no lockdown on the whole city, only lockdown on the where the cases are very. So we, Alhamdulillah, we have arranged many championships, many tournaments in COVID, and we successfully ran this. And now, Alhamdulillah, all over the country allowed. We give the shots, 2 shots of our all athletes of vaccine, and maybe the 75 of the students are take the booster. Secondly, Pakistan. Your your question was that uh, without the Nusantara countries like Pakistan, India, I appreciate Mr. Iqbal. He's doing very well before Mr. One other person. I'm not taking the name of this man. But when Mr. Iqbal is come, he revolutionary changes, and we are very appreciate the efforts of Mr. Iqbal, and we have a very friendly race with Mr. Iqbal, India and Pakistan. Although Pakistan is a small country, like one province of India, UP, and Pakistan, one province, and India have 36 provinces. Pakistan have 4 provinces. But Alhamdulillah, we as a Pakistan, as compared to other countries, my team, even I'm appreciating my son Ali Raza, who is working as the director of operation and directly student of Dr. Sheikh Alauddin. He done very well. He is our backbone. So, inshallah, uh, about the new rules, they are amazing, amazing. Um, we are very impressive. We are very appreciate in our language, Kharaj Tahseen. We are appreciate the Singapore Silat Federation. They make a lot efforts by virtual, by make the videos and everything we have in our systems, and we are giving the training to the students. So thank you very much. I again want to say thank you to Bappa Sheikh Alauddin bin Yaqub, our teacher, our pride. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rana. Maybe I want to hear from Algeria. What makes you decide to set up and run Pencak Silat Federation back in 2014?
Yes, as you know, Pencak Silat in Algeria is a new style, art martial. Before in Algeria, the art martial we know just Vietnamese art martial or Japanese art martial. Now, in 2014, Pencak Silat were beginning in Algeria. But Alhamdulillah, if they haven't this epidemic of corona, we have a big work to make it before. But last activity was in 2020. Before pandemic, it was like National Cup Pencak Silat, but no activity since 2020 2020, all activity was stopped here in Algeria. But now we restart all activity. Alhamdulillah, Algeria, and we're beginning with development of WASIT jury with new rules because as for the new rules that have been added to the sport, it has given a new push and a refresh look to the competition. And now Algeria, next week, inshallah, we will make our national championship that we will selection the national team. As you know, Algeria has an official national team now. The state is sponsoring it. Alhamdulillah, we will work for participate in the next World Championship in Malaysia. Now the Pencak Silat in Algeria will be, and he was a famous art martial in Algeria. Alhamdulillah, because we have every month or every day we have a new practice and the new state, because as I tell you before, Algeria is big country, but Silat, we work to make every state in Algeria practice Silat, inshallah. And we have I want to make my for Mr. Tidi and Mr. Sheikh Alauddin for their support here for Pencak Silat in Algeria. And we wait for you, Mr. Sheikh Alauddin. You tell me you come to Algeria in last World Championship in Singapore, but we still waiting you.
Come anytime you invite me in June. You give me
you are welcome anytime. It's your second country, Algeria.
Okay.
You don't need the invitation. You don't need invitation, Mr. Sheikh.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure if you visit Algeria.
You give me the date, I'll be there.
Thank you, sir.
Boss, I can follow,
You're welcome also, yeah.
All right. So before I move to the next topic, touching on the international Pencak Silat competition rules and regulation, the latest version, I would like to ask your opinion on Pencak Silat that has been included in Hollywood movies. So if any, I watched Merantau like 10, 11 years back. That was acted by Mr. Iko Uwais from Indonesia. So that's one of the movie that showcasing Pencak Silat stunts. And then they follow up with the Raid Redemption, and then the latest one is John Wick. So Bapak Teddy, how do you feel about Pencak Silat being showcased in an Indonesian movie, and then it starts to get popular? Bapak Teddy, you mute.
Actually, in terms of popularity of Pencak Silat in film, in domestic Indonesia, it was back to since 1970 actually, 70, 1980, and Pak Benny is one of the movie star in he played in around 20 films, action films, and of course, mostly content of Pencak Silat movement. Pak Benny is a movie star. All of a sudden, few years, since the past few years, then Hollywood, using Iko Uwais as the film star and playing Pencak Silat. Of course, it gave us the very proud. Yeah. And for you to know that Okay, Iko always is very good. That's why he's the movie star. But in Pencak Silat family, I mean, in terms of sports silat, uh, Dr. Harwin is much better than the guys actually in terms of Pencak Silat sport, yeah. Because Dr. Harwin is a world champ and Iko is not, but he's film star. So let's get back to the Pencak Silat. Now, Pencak Silat is much popular now, especially after Iko is playing film in Hollywood, and now it gives to all Indonesian people, especially young generation, a kind of proud that Pencak Silat is no longer sport kampungan or style sport, but now it goes to Hollywood, and now Pencak Silat in Indonesia is more popular and more next it goes to the next level of appreciation as compared as before. And now young generation is joining Pencak Silat now, and it's very good. Give very positive feedback. Is positive uh, uh, the going having Pencak Silat in Hollywood, of course, it give a very good promotion for Pencak Silat in Indonesia and of course all of the world. So we are going to create more film star of Pencak Silat, and especially from other part of the country. So hopefully we will have another Pencak Silat star from other countries, not only from Indonesia. So that's my opinion about the Pencak Silat going Hollywood, and hopefully soon it will go to Bollywood, from Bollywood India, not only Hollywood. Pencak Silat in Bollywood, Mr. Iqbal, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you, Bapak Teddy. Yeah, I'm always looking forward to any movie that have Pencak Silat elements in it. Yeah. So anyone else have watched John Wick 3?
There are several movies in Netflix right now that are highlighting Pencak Silat. I've seen a couple of Malaysian movies and some about 5 Indonesian movies that are showcasing Pencak Silat. And I think going penetrating Hollywood is the best way for us to go mainstream, so to speak, in terms of promoting Pencak Silat worldwide. John Wick was really awesome. As a matter of fact, I remember when they had it shown here in the Philippines, we got invited by the PR firm of the PR company that's promoting the film of John Wick. They invited some of our athletes. They even interviewed them and they showed them on television. And I think that's a very good way to promote as well, of course, our sports and martial arts, Pencak Silat.
Yeah, I have also seen the Joferi's movie, one Joferi of Malaysia. And
Yeah, I
one
wanted to
movie,
see, I wanted to see that too. Like I'm
yeah,
seeing his
and
Facebook about
Tarung,
promoting it in his
one
Facebook.
movie is Tarung Sarung, and the very old movies of I have researched from the internet. The very old movies are also on Panchik Silat. I don't know names because the pronunciation, but I have seen so many movies. And secondly, I want to say one thing about the new rule. Yes, very good. Make change in the rules. Do it beautiful. But one thing is very important, that the Panchik Silat is not an ordinary martial art. This is the heritage of Malay culture. So please don't change the beauty of like this, the changing the hands, the moving, the movement, the krambit, the guluk. Please don't change. don't change these things, because we are very successful in Pakistan because of nobody can do this, nobody can do Krambit, nobody can do Tungal, nobody can do Tanding like Caesar kicks. So please freeze this like a heritage. So it is also declared as heritage. So make change, beautiful changes we have seen, but the the soul of that game is the technicality, is the and I have researched the Rama Sukana was a lady. She invention of Panchak Silat. So the movement of Panchak Silat, that the steps, the movement, these are very good. They are not in any other martial art. So I love to Panchak Silat on that these movements, these moves, and these artistic lines. Thank you.
I agree, sir. I agree with you. Those
Thank you very much.
movements, those stances makes Penchak Silat.
Yeah,
Actually, that differentiate us from the rest of the martial arts in the world. Uh, those is uniquely, I would say, those stances or those movements, those are uniquely Penchak Silat that makes our martial arts very interesting and unique
Alhamdulillah.
to everyone.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you, Mr. Rana, Mr. Ainir, for sharing. So later, Mr. Ainir, you can share with me the list of movies in Netflix,
Yeah,
so I
sure.
can put inside my playlist.
I will. I will.
All right. Dr. Sheikh, since Mr. Rana has brought up about the upgraded rules and regulation, so how do you explain to the people out there that the changes are making the sport less pencak silat, or like the element of pencak silat or the aestheticness of pencak silat or the artistic of pencak silat is losing somehow, since you are part of the Pesilat Task Force and Steering Committee? What do you have to say about that?
Okay. The new rules basically is not a totally a new rules and regulation. It's just a top up and add-ons to whatever that is already been established since the early 80s. So
Yeah.
there's the changes. We add on, yes, that is fully agreed. And I fully agreed that we will never change the sikap tangan, the pola langkah, the kuda-kuda, the stances, the hand pattern, the hand movement, the stances. It's very important to have all these things. This is a must. Failing which, the referee will give you a reprimand, period. Nothing else than that. So it's just an add-ons. If you go back to the silat, traditional silat, it covers three aspects. One is the artistic silat, self-defense, and of course the spiritual, where we emphasize a lot about self-defense and artistic. Right now, we put the artistic values and the self-defense into the rules. In my time, when I was competing in the early 80s until late 90s, we have the locking system. We have everything. But when it comes to competition, the athlete just couldn't execute the submission or the locking system. You will just do a punching and kicking. And then it comes to the revolutionizing pertaining to the sport itself. There's a lot of comments from the medias and then from the spectators and also sponsors, where they look at why the sport of martial art it's so slow and so boring. When they gonna attack? I'm waiting my camera. So these are the things that always I got the news or the saying by the people out there. Because the problem here, you see kickboxing, Muay Thai, MMA, they are robust, they are fast, they are exciting, commercialize it, and the sponsors would like to come in and put in the money and so on. If we don't change, there will be no viewership, spectators very little, sponsors will not come in, because in Singapore, I having hard time to tell them that, look, come down for my events. I need sponsors. Look at our sport. We have high discipline athletes who trains very hard for the competition, but the competition itself is not up to par that governs them or warrants them to put their money. So that's why we try to make it fast action, but we will not compromise on reducing the values of Silat. Instead, the grandmasters in various club or perguruan in Philippines, in Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, they have introduced a lot of different style of Silat. And inside the Silat, they introduce a lot of kuncian, or the submission or the lockings. So try the coaches, you must know how to bring this element in today's rules regulation. I think it's giving the opportunity for the athletes and the coaches to showcase as much as possible whatever you have learned from your grandmaster, your styles, you try to apply as much as possible. At the same time, there's a rule that you have to abide with. Of course, we won't put in that you can punch or kick neck and above. You cannot kick the groin. You cannot kick the knee. So these are all areas that is not allowed. And once you do it, you can get disqualification. And it's a must for you to have stance. So these are basically the new rules is actually the add-ons, just add-ons. If you can see that, how to make it more interesting on the artistic and give more medal and opportunity to the country. That's why we changed the whole concept by trying to follow like the match, where it's a battle concept, where you can get first, second, third. You can have all the years is only first, second, third, gold, silver, bronze. Now it goes up to gold, silver, bronze, bronze, 2 bronzes. And it's battle. It's not like you showcase as much in each country and then you get the results. But now it's a battle. It's more challenging and make it more interesting for the competitors. So these are the values where we see how best we can commercialize it in terms of the sport. And then we can live up to the next level and giving us more opportunities for the fan clubs and then the sponsors. And of course, the rating will goes up. And of course, the National Sports Association may want to come by and see. At the same time, please just need to prepare yourself on the safety aspect of it. We have the rules like safety aspect. You have to see in terms of training and then competition. How best you know how to do technique of defense rather than we attack all the time. Majority of the competition, you can see, attack, 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 attack. Only very little defend, attack, and defense tactics, very, very little. So I think it's always an opportunity for the coaches to look at it and try to diversify it and improve it. And from there, and this brings certain Silat club in all over the world to portray their Silat style, truly Silat style, especially in Brunei Darussalam. they are very popular in the close contact, self-defense. And this new rule actually opened the eye and giving them the opportunity to showcase as much as possible. So in a nutshell, we just top up what is the loose end and giving the opportunity to the clubs to enjoy by portraying their styles. Yeah.
Okay. May I add something?
Sure,
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Okay. For the Philippine experience, of course, these new rules is a challenge for us here in the National Sports Association. The challenge here is how to cascade it to the grassroots level so that the coaches in the grassroots level would be able to adapt and understand the new rules, the concept of the new rules, the ideas, the new techniques that we have to employ that are now allowed. So that's one of the challenges that we are facing. At the same time, in the national team, our challenge as well is like incorporating all these add-ons that Sheikh is saying in their uh, game strategies, game techniques, and how they play the match, the game itself, for especially for Tanding. That's the challenge because our coaches have to learn the new rules as well. Our national coaches and the athletes as well, since they've been used to the previous rules and previous techniques. Now they have as well need to do, or they're doing some adjustments so that they can now more or less practice and develop certain muscle memory uh, as they do their techniques, especially doing tanding techniques, no, for them. But right now, I would say the biggest challenge really is cascading it to everybody among the coaches and athletes uh, in the grassroots, because that's where we need to really teach them and guide them with these new rules so that they can use it at the same time, adopt it in their training and in the matches that they'll be participating in, and at the same time keeping in mind the safety of all the pesilats that will be participating, especially in tanding. That's it.
Right.
Let me add one more because I have to leave the meeting because we have to break the fast. We are working with the rules and the athletes and our main aim and goal should be the Olympics, like the Perslat under the leadership of Mr. Teddy, Mr. Benny, Mr. Sheikh Alauddin sir. They are doing very hard work to just incorporate the sport in the next Asian Game, Japan, and they are working for the GAIF and the Olympics, of course. So to make forward, we should introduce the sport in the paras. Like it was the previous discussion with the Persilat meeting, and India is just trying to incorporate the sport of Penchaksilat among the paras, which is the main thing. Every country should adopt this thing. And for this purpose, this year we have the national championship for paras, and we are expecting more than 250 paras will participate in Gujarat. And I have already sent that communication to Mr. Sheikh Alauddin sir yesterday. We got the clearance from the Union Ministry. Maybe they will fund us still so that we can hold the para championship from this year also. And in this platform, it's not good to just uh, discuss that thing, but I request last time our counterpart, Mr. Bangladesh head, to hold the South Asian Championship, because since then we are not able to chat or discuss with each other. So I request him also to make it possible, and I have full hope that Mr. Rana will incorporate our Pencak Silat in the South Asian Games, and inshallah we will
We will
be.
discuss it. We will discuss it because the no, there is no direct flight from Lahore or Karachi to Bangladesh, and that
Mm.
I have done the ticket $1,100 per person. So
Okay.
in India or Pakistan is very good because they are all come by road. And
Okay.
the next is I think I will be pressurized to the Pakistan Sports Board to arrange it in Islamabad by the government of Pakistan. And secondly, the World Championship is on ahead. So we have not taking any money from government. We are all taking from my family, friends, and my friends' companies. They are giving to money to for the first. So our first goal is to participate in World Championship. And
Okay.
the Mr. Iqbal, I clearly told you that I am taking opportunity to arrange South Asian Championship before South Asian Games in Islamabad, Pakistan in Jinnah Stadium.
Inshallah.
So we
All
will
right.
discuss, we will in touch.
Yes, yeah.
And
Maybe you can
secondly,
discuss this separately.
secondly, I with the proud that I'm student of Sheikh Alauddin. I have after 10-year research, I have read a book, write a book on Panchak Silat in my native language in Urdu.
Oh,
Inshallah, this is on proofreading process where I have explained what is Panchak Silat, what is the history of Panchak Silat, what is the philosophy of Panchak Silat, Buddhi Pekarti Lahore, and all things and the all leaders of Panchak Silat, they are highlighted in this book. Inshallah, I will present to you. Inshallah.
Thank you.
Let me allow, sir, because we are just 10 minutes away from the fasting. So thank you so much on behalf of Indian Pencak Silat Federation, and we will see you at Malaysia, and hopefully then at the Junior World Champion, Junior Asian.
Inshallah, inshallah.
Thank you for joining our live session, Mr. Iqbal.
I hope to see you, Iqbal, at the second Silat World Beach Pencak Silat Championship here in the Philippines.
Yeah. We
We
will
would love to
definitely.
welcome you all and be.
Oh,
our guests.
inshallah, inshallah.
We
We
are
will
ready
come,
to
we
come.
will come.
Thank you so much.
have a nice.
Thank you, Iqbal. जीते रहो. अल्लाह ताला
Assalamu
आपकी
alaikum.
इबादतें कबूल करे.
Amin.
Have a nice breakfast.
All right. So we're
We
still
have in Pakistan, I think after 15 minutes, iftar after 15 minutes. But I am here.
all right. All right. We're still at the rules and regulation topics. I would like to open this question to Mr. B and Mr. Les, because Mr. Les shared that you won't be able to send a team at the World Championship. So how does your federation accept the changes on the rules and regulation? Was there any sense of rejection, things like that? Maybe Mr. B or Mr. Les, either one of you want to
Yes.
start first?
Okay.
Please, Mr. Les, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. We do like like Queensland. They have several clubs in there. Like they already tried to practice it, did some competition to the children. So, and then we ask a report for every clubs in under the federation what they think about the new technique and so on. But it's just an we don't have very much experienced coaches that really like what Six also mentioned. They that very important. The coaches understand the new changes and what is the obstacle of the changes. Because we have involved lots of. We have a lot of young athletes that we need to see. On the other part, that because we're very early sort of in the sport, so everyone just get used to the old rules, and then we bring in the new rules the coaches itself not sort of familiar to bring it down to apply to the children. So that's why, again, right now we are unable to give lots of sort of comment to that. But I agree with what Bashik mentioned. You know, there is just an application to it and being it more interesting, because that's what the world's now. That's what sells a lot in Australia. So the MMA is amazing sort of ball game at all. That's a lots of sponsors, lots of money involved in there, and then it is what we notice every time the World Championship. We don't create a lot of spectator in there. That's what we would like to bring it in. But that's in terms of that. That's what right now very important for Australia. We developed the wasijuri coaches, and again, I like to ask Pak Sheikh and Pak Teddy, and soon we like to get together in bring Pencak Silat into the Commonwealth game. So probably that's something we can discuss, because Commonwealth game will be in Victoria. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Les. How about Mr. B? You want to share?
Yes, of course. Like I mentioned before, for us, it's kind of difficult to find sponsoring funding. There's no funding from the government whatsoever. There's no funding from private sector. It's very difficult because the Netherlands has a very rich culture in self-defense sports. So all the sports you can think about, they're present in the Netherlands, like MMA, K1, kickboxing, Thai boxing, everything is there. And as soon as you buy from the local providers suits or equipment, then sponsors from the equipment might be interested. Well, the Pencak Silat Peguruans, they all buy with their own Peguruan. So they don't buy at the local sport club. They don't buy Adidas. They don't buy Nike. They all buy their own Peguruan stuff. So it's very difficult to get funding. Of course, back to the rules. We had our little, of course, like conversations with our Peguruans, saying that something changes, that gives a little bit of friction about the changes. But we managed to do some training about that. We trained the national team. We have a few athletes ready for the coming World Championship, so that we are trying to bring them. But unfortunately, the majority, like 50 to 60% of the team, said it's too early for them. No training during COVID period, and actually almost all of our team are adults. So people that work. We don't have athletes that are sponsored or athletes that are in a program, because we don't have that. There is no program, there's no money. So there is no athlete joining a program. So they're all people working or going to school, and they need to find funding from themselves, by themselves. And looking at the tickets Kuala Lumpur in July, it's of course, Kuala Lumpur is just opened up, I think, or is opening up, or is just opened up. And finding tickets, they're getting more and more expensive. So it's the holiday season. So some of the athletes say that we have to buy this for ourselves. So it's too expensive, too fast. And we hope to send, although half a team. And also back to the regulations, the new regulations mean also new equipment. So if we want to start with the real good equipment, like digital scoring, like video refereeing, then we need an investment of $20,000, $25,000. And then the question is, where's this investment coming from? Because if we have championships, for example, the Netherlands has 5. We look at Belgium, they have one a year. So they put in $25,000 for one time a year. So you need to share it. Maybe you share with a few countries, but then you need to send it. But you cannot send it because you need people operating it. I can just send digital scoring to the UK, but if there's nobody being able to operate it, there's a problem with that. So you need an operator. And so there are very difficult logistic problems coming with new rules. If we take the new rules to the side a little bit, taking written scoring forms, then we can do that. But if there's a protest, we don't have any video protesting. We don't have any other things in place to do that. So that's little things that we still need to get good for us, for the Netherlands, to find out how to work with that. We don't score digitally. Okay, we do it manually. We do it by normal scoring forms. Okay, but a protest, how do you handle a protest if you don't have a video scoring system? So if we want to step up the game, we need to find out ways to doing that. So there's a little bit of things that we are having problems with.
I think every Silat Federation will have their own problems to handle. So I hope in the future you'll be able to find solutions to this. So we hope to maybe in the future World Championship is being held in Netherlands. Yeah,
we had once.
In more. We're looking more. All right. We're still at the rules and regulation topic. So do you guys think, oh yeah, everyone's a gentleman here. I'm the only lady here. I just realized that. Okay. So do you guys think the newer generation will be more excited with these games since it's more fast paced, more dynamic? Does the changes in the rules and regulation will attract more people or more youth to take part? What do you think, Dr. Sheikh?
Definitely, in my own opinion, I'm involved in so many martial arts because I'm the advisor in Singapore, advisor for kickboxing. They put me in jiu-jitsu, and then I'm involved in the MMA and so many martial arts that I'm involved in, and I can see that it demands a lot in terms of the physical attributes, and at the same time the students just love it, the people just love it because they just want they are full of energy, and they want fast action, dynamic, and so on. And I did ask a lot of countries that compete in Singapore in the last Sea Championship, and of course we do the trials trials in Malaysia. We got a lot of questions from the countries saying that we just love these new uh, rules that give us an opportunity, and it's more excitement in watching them, and they like it. Only thing, yes, every tournament we have to review and see how we can refine and make it better. Of course, in the last Sea Championship, a lot of people that I invite through my own contacts, and they just love it. Because previously I invited them and they say, oh, it's a bit boring, a lot of stop, stop, stop. And, the whole thing is, if we're going to sit complacent and we are with the old rules for nearly 30, 40 years, and we contented with it. The moment we want to make a change, we have to start from zero. And once we start from zero, that's the problem comes in. Like Mr. Oliver was saying that, you have to put in the money, the coaches have to do training and so on. I think this is the only best way to get ourselves educated, get ourselves to start to smudge our brain and come up with a new more techniques that this is following the latest trend, which is what now the kids are looking at, because now the kids are the most important, where we can drive them to Silat. I'm always driving a lot of people out there to Silat rather than they go to other martial art or other sports, because I want them to see the beauty of Silat in terms of the artistic and of course in terms of the match. And we can be compared with other martial arts, especially on the martial art that is very popular, kickboxing, MMA, or even in Muay Thai and others. As you can see, a lot of martial art now, like jiu-jitsu, they add on a lot of categories of competitions. You see, even Muay Thai now go into professional, because why? They want to increase the value. They want people to follow their martial art. So likewise, Silat, if we want to be in the higher level, we want to be in the Asian Games or even Commonwealth Game or Olympics, we have to come together. We have to come together to build Pencak Silat. I think, Pak Teddy, definitely you will echo this. What do you think, Pak Teddy?
Pak Teddy, you're mute.
Okay, let's get back to the initial idea why Persilat the modify, revise, or develop a new regulation, because it start since 2018, yeah, when Pencak Silat included in Asian Games, and it attract so many prominent person in Indonesia that Pencak Silat have to go to Olympics. There's a chance for Pencak Silat to go to Olympic. Okay, for the internal Indonesian government, the having medal in Olympics through Pencak Silat is very potential. So, but then the question is, in the IOC rule, or if we want to get the membership from IOC, the sports have to be attractive. The sport has to be attractive. Now we realize that, as Dr. said, that in previous rules, Pencak Silat is quite boring, because so many interruptions, so many stop from the referee, so many. The rule is too rigid, very rigid. There's so many interruptions, stop by referee. Then it diminished the entertaining issue in Pencak Silat. Now with the new rules, as you can see, for those who come to see Pencak Silat in Singapore last February, you can feel the difference with the previous rules. More entertaining, not too many interrupting from the referee, and more aggressive. Because now the question is, if you want to go to IOC, can we sell the sport? Will people buy the ticket to see Pencak Silat? That's the question actually. If we cannot sell the Pencak Silat to the public as before, there's no chance we can go to the Olympics. With these new rules and regulation, hopefully that it will attract people to come to see Pencak Silat. Of course, through broadcasting to media, and of course to see directly in the venue. And we can selling ticket, and I just imagine that like in India, in Pakistan, I heard from report from Mr. Rana that so many young generation, young people attract Pencak Silat. And I think now by having new rules, we have to sell Pencak Silat so that people will go to wish to come to the Pencak Silat event and buying ticket. That's a challenge. Now, once we have that kind of entertaining sport, and people come to our event, and so many thousand and thousand event around the globe, then the chance to go to Olympic is very clear for us. Of course, to get that then we have once we modify the revise, allowable, allowed, and non-allowed, then of course in any new things, there's a lot always pros and cons. And right on, even in Indonesia, we still have, pros and cons. And of course, by time, just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. I think all people will, we will all will accept, and we all will love with this new entertaining rules and regulation. So if still some of us doubt with the new rules, just go to YouTube and see the videos of last see Southeast Asian Championship. It's very entertaining. It's a very and of course it will give very challenging for the athlete, because it's very aggressive, and it's very exhausted, and you can see so many athletes, lost their stamina after the competition. So again, we have very good new rules and regulation, and hopefully by having this in matter of time, time wise, of course, to go to Olympic it takes time. We are not talking about 5 years. We are not talking about 10 years. Maybe, of course, less, more than that. In Indonesia, in Indonesia government, the projected pencak silat goes to Olympic is 2044, because in Indonesia, 100 years independence in 2045, and the closest Olympics to 2045, 2044. So in Indonesia agenda, in Indonesia government agenda, Indonesia at least should be the Indonesian Olympic host on 2044. You just count from now how many years then. So by years after years, we will of course the rules now is not the end. It will always develop and develop until really entertaining sport, and really people will attract and will see and will pay the event of pencak silat. We can sell the pencak silat to the public, and that's when we can eligible to be accepted as the IOC sports member. So that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Bapak Teddy. Looks like you're putting the head of a Persilat representative instead of IPSI.
So yeah,
It's okay. At least it's
differentiate between Indonesia and IF. Okay.
at least everyone will have the information on Persilat's future planning, things like that. Bapak tadi did mention about selling of pencak silat to the public, to the world. I would like to ask to the floor, what are your marketing strategy to promote pencak silat in your country? Anyone would like to share first? Mr. Enir, you on mute.
All right, sorry, I'm so sorry. Okay, in the Philippines, the strategy that we took is that we tied up with we want to develop the grassroots athletes, the young, the kids, the what we call early learners. That's why we tied up with the Department of Education or Ministry of Education. That way, we can penetrate the younger students, the young students in the grade school level and high school level, and start training them. That's the what we call a more. It's a short term and long term plan for us to and viable plan to promote Pencak Silat, because we're not just creating the market, the what we call market for Pencak Silat. We're also developing our future market, because these kids, as they grow up learning Pencak Silat, they'll be our they'll be our future national athletes as well. That's where we will tap our national athletes. As a matter of fact, most of our athletes came from the grassroots development program of our sports. So that's the strategy we're taking. We're really starting from the grassroots all the way up.
Anyone else would like to contribute?
Maybe I just add, if we nowadays we have to tweak a bit and change our strategy pertaining to recruit or doing promotion towards for Pencak Silat. So basically, for me, I will look at, yes, you can start from below. That means the grassroots side, and then you will grow slowly up. So that will take very long and very properly planned programs, and then you can put them into the national team and compete in the international. However, nowadays is pretty fast and dynamic, so we can even offer to any of the ready athletes out there from different martial arts, and or those who have competed before in anything, in any other martial arts. You can welcome them into the national team, and then you train them in a fast track about silat, and then that's the time that you can just put them into the competition. So that is the fast track, because nowadays kids who start from below, as they grow, and then they have to go through so many activities and belt system and so on, they may get tired. By the time they go into the age of working, they can say goodbye to the martial art or the sport, and then they will find money. They want to work. So this is a time it will be difficult for us. So you can play in both ways. You can go into ground up. Another one is just fast track and get from whoever is ready from any martial art. Tweak a bit, make them understand what it's all about, the silat, and then the rules. Then that's it. Yeah. So that's the plan now we are doing even in Singapore.
Okay, Chick. It's good that you mentioned that. Actually, in the national team right now, in our national team, we're doing that as well. We're doing the what you just said, the fast tracking of recruits. Right now, we have an athletes from karatedo, and then we also have another athletes that came from wushu, who's now part of the national team. I think, yeah, you were just able to expound on it much better. And
Right.
I completely agree with your idea and concept.
That's great. That's great. Yeah.
Anyone else would like to share, maybe from Algeria? What's your marketing strategy in promoting the sport there?
For perfectionment of Pencak Silat in our country, I agree with Mr. Sheikh and Mr. President of Philippines. But here in Algeria, we work with young athletes, because Pencak Silat is new here in Algeria, and we make Silat more lovely here in Algeria. Because if you get another athlete from another side, he come to Silat for just competing, not with lovely. But if you practice with the young athlete, they will adapt the Pencak Silat, and they will be his life. Here in Algeria, we I think like this. But in Algeria now, we have a lot difficult last time. Now, alhamdulillah, Pencak Silat will be more lovely and more recognized in Algeria. But just I have one question to Mr. Tidi, if I can. I can, please?
Yes, sure.
For our strategy in Algeria now, I want to talk about strategy in Africa. Now, as you know, in Africa, we don't have Federation African of Pencak Silat. And we arise to spread strong connection in the African continent. But now we are only waiting for the response of the IPSI or Federation Pencak Silat to establish the African Federation, because the Algerian ministry has give approval for the founding this in also this is in cooperation with the African country, Mr. TD.
Yes, actually, when Pak Ben and I were in US at the time, we have a plan to hold the what to call it, the Zoom conference, yeah, Congress by inviting all African countries. But I think it can be held after Lebaran, after Eid al-Fitr, inshallah. So Pak Beni will invite all African countries, and then he will chair the session. And at the time, we try to select the president of establish the African Federation of course, and at the same time, of course, elect the president of African Federation. By now, we already have Asia. Mr. Sek is the president, and we have Europe, Mr. Aidina as the president, and America, Mr. Jake Richter as the president. And inshallah, after Lebaran, we'll have another Africa Federation, and at the time we'll fight all. The reason why we pending your letter, a response to your letter, because we still have the new countries coming register. So we have to we have to accept them all. Then inshallah after Ramadan we can do that.
Inshallah.
And thank you, Algeria and Bapak Teddy. Mr. B, you raise up your hand. Maybe you want to share your inputs about your marketing strategy?
Yes, thank you very much. At this moment, we are looking to support our schools because the marketing strategy from the National Federation is greatly dependent on the schools themselves and what they do. And we try to persuade them to have an active strategy to find schools and try to see the grassroots way to find primary schools, to find them in like a 1 to 5 miles radius from their existence, and then see if they can get the grassroots way. But what Mr. Sheikh is saying, the fast track, I'm very looking into that right now, because if we look at the grassroots way, when they get to the national team, I might be not here anymore. So this will take some time, probably a road of 10 years, 8 years, 15 years. So I might not be in the same position at that time. So the fast track also, for the benefit of Pencak Silat, is also a way we, I think, have to look at. And I hope that Mr. Sheikh or Persilat can help us with a training program that is like a complete training program for the fast track, so that we can help other martial arts that want to get acquainted with Pencak Silat. And for example, we have a lot of martial arts schools that have 1, 2, 3, 4 different martial arts in one school, and they want to do Pencak Silat, but they need to have their education. So if we have fast track education ready from Persilat, or maybe Mr. Sheikh has some ideas, if we have that ready, this fast track education, like a few days program for people who are experienced martial artists but want to know Silat, then we might have a good point in growing.
Right. Let me just answer to Mr. Oliver. Of course, we have the program for fast track that will help very much in terms of giving them the opportunity to learn about Silat. And then if they love to continue as a traditional Silat, okay, jolly well, there's a lot of perguruan there that can go on. If not, they just want to compete, we can always tie them down for 2 years or more, and then giving them the chance to compete at the same time they learn the art, and that will influence the rest of them to understand about Silat and grow with Silat. Who knows, they may switch 360 degrees and join Silat. I don't want to be involved in Muay Thai and kickboxing may damage my face and all that. So maybe Silat is much more safer and join Silat. Yeah, that, I mean, again, as I say, anytime, if you think you can make the program, I can be there to help you up and make them understand. Maybe you can call as many martial art there to see how best and how good is Silat that can help and give them an open idea to be part of Silat. I guess that's another avenue and another chance, and I leave it to you. I just want to continue talking about the risk. This my friend from Algeria was mentioning. Of course, Persilat, add on to Pak Teddy. Of course, Persilat were wanting to establish the 5 continents. Right now, we are 3. And of course, Mr. Algeria is ready to helm the chairmanship or the president for the African country. I think there's a African Confederation that you can touch base. All the countries can be part of it, and then we can do big programs, because the potential from Africa is very big, very huge. Why I know this? Because I'm involved in the Global Association of Mixed Martial Art. They just started off, and then they already have 130 countries. And then majority comes from Latin America, Europe, and Africa. But of course, Africa is another issue that they need support. They need a lot of support, because they don't have equipments, they don't have money to travel, and then and there's a lot of it. But of course, we are working hard to put Silat in Olympics. One of the areas is to look at Africa and countries that we can support. We are working very closely with Bapak Prabowo, and once he signed the paper, and Silat will be a total change with a new direction. Of course, want to put Silat in Olympics. I think we will cover all the countries in terms of coaching, in terms of refereeing, education, and federation development, competition, and so on. So I think they will cover full aspect. And I also want to tickle a bit Mr. Les, that I've spoken to you long time, that you should manage the Oceania, because one of the area is Oceania. So you can be the hub for Oceania in Australia, and you can become the president of Oceania. So let's look at it seriously and how best to establish Oceania, and then we can complete our 5 continents and make sure all the countries is not just setting up perguruan or setting up a federation. It have to be a member of the National Olympic Council, and that will help us very much to put Silat in Olympic better chance. If not, it's going to be very long, because it's going to be a hilly-willy for us to reach the destination of Olympics. So I hope that Mr. Les and my friend from Algeria, you may want to look at this seriously, and we will be definitely support not only to become a president or setting up federation. Yeah, it have to be a member of National Olympic Council. Every countries. I guess that's it all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sheikh.
Yeah.
I want to say something.
Oh, okay, sure.
Honorable Bapak Sheikh Alauddin, there is one organization, before it was RCD, in Pakistan, Iran, and Turkey. And now it's ECO, Economic Cooperation Organization. The countries are included Pakistan, Iran, Turkey, Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. This is ECO. So ECO headquarters has in Tehran. So I have a suggestion. Why not we make ECO Federation of Pencak Silat? Because these countries, including Afghanistan, these countries have no any rift, so they can easily meet by road to each country. Thank you.
That one I leave it to Pak Teddy to
Yeah.
look at it. Pak Teddy, you have anything to say about the suggestion from Mr. Rana?
Yeah. Right now in our constitution, the regional federation is of course 5, including Commonwealth Federation. Now, if you have a session like that, I don't know, is that based on geography, or based on what? Based on economical relationship, or based on what? We can propose that in the next coming Congress in Malaysia.
Right, sir. Right.
Yeah, you can raise your hand and then you suggest to the president.
Right, sir.
But you have to complete information, whether this is based on geography, based on race, based on what, or based maybe because of the economic benefit, like you said, just by your own.
This is it's my only suggestion that if we can do this,
sure,
we can arrange more championships between these countries. We can more potential. We can more promote Pencak Silat in these countries.
Okay.
Finally, and ultimate decision will be in Congress and will be the leaders.
Okay. Bring the proposal to the Congress next July.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Rana. This will be my last questions. We have been online for 2 hours. Wow. So my last question to everyone: how far do you see Silat will be developed in the next 10 years? Who wants to start first?
Yeah, we have enthusiasm that in this 10 year we will be include this unique martial art in Olympic. We will try. We will do it in the leadership of Pak Prabowo Subianto, Patedi, Papeni, Dr. Sheikh Alauddin. These are it's a never buttering. These are the very good leaders. We are very lucky that these leaders are with us. So inshallah, it will be the part of Olympic. Inshallah.
Inshallah. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. The only way to go is Olympics.
Yeah,
that's the only way. So we already had the Asian game, and I hope in the coming Asian games will be a regular sports. Will be a regular part of Asian games and other continental sports that is sanctioned by the IOC. And of course, there's like what I said, there's only one way to go, but the Olympics for everybody in Pencak
sir,
Silat.
I am very close to the OIC, Olympic Council of Asia. I have some very good friends in OIC, OCA, Olympic Council of Asia, OCA, and I am very close to Olympic and Sports Board. Inshallah, I have never seen the other federations have leaders like these people, like Pateti, Pabeni, Sheikh Alauddin. They're never doing something. They are working on auto base. They are working on auto base. And Sheikh Alauddin having idea, even he's sleeping.
Okay, let's go.
They have any unique idea, even he's sleeping. And
Okay.
when he wake up, he said, do this. So it's a wonderful. It's a
So,
wonderful.
let's get back to the question. 10 years from now means in 2024 we'll be having Olympics in France, and Pak Prabowo already have agenda to make a kind of exhibition pencak silat in France. In France, 2028 it will be having the Olympics at Los Angeles, and Pak Prabowo also will be ready at the time. Hopefully, already exhibition in Olympics in Los Angeles. And the next,
Inshallah.
inshallah, after Los Angeles, there's still not decided where. So,
What about Commonwealth Bank? Commonwealth Sport?
oh, okay, but it's not.
Yeah, 2026.
Okay, okay, Dr. Seh, also we we need to arise the Commonwealth Federation, Commonwealth
Game.
in the next Congress, Pak, ya. So 10 years from now, it will be very bright. More picture, more film using pencak silat, and it will be explode pencak silat in Pakistan, in India, everywhere.
But Eddie, with due respect, for this, it is necessary to every national member federation is affiliated with their own NOC. Because without affiliation of National Olympic Committee, it's not possible. So it is our duty and to help the other countries, like our Indonesian ambassador helping us a lot. So help the countries to be a full member of their NOC, because when we are all the members of NOC, full members of NOC, bona fide members of National Olympic Committee, then we will be go to the these games, like you said, that the Commonwealth Games and the Olympic game. But first, and I'm very glad to see here that many clubs in, mashallah, in Holland, in your countries, Nusantara countries, this is a culture like kabaddi in our countries, like cricket in our countries. The Pencak Silat is a very beautiful and unique martial art and very popular in your country, but not in our countries. In our countries, we are struggling for the promotion, and Alhamdulillah, in Pakistan, every person who linked with sports know that Pencak Silat is a sports and a very good martial art. So this is a very necessary for us to be a member of NOC.
Okay.
Anyone else would like to share before I call upon Dr. Sheikh to give his closing address? Nope. All right, Dr. Sheikh, the floor is yours.
Okay. I just want to say a big thank you to all the representatives from each country that joined us as a panel today. I think it's a fruitful discussion and contribution and ideas. I think that's very great. And whoever out there that follow us, you also can give us any opportunities of ideas and plans that you have. You can always send to us, and then we can look into it and how we can further the sport. To that, I would like to conclude. Today is the fourth YouTube live since the international athlete, international coaches, international referees, and of course the president. This whole idea is basically just to make sure that everyone is in tandem with the direction of the new rules and the direction of putting Silat to Olympics, to make everyone aware, and everyone must come together. It's very important that it's not only me or Pak Teddy or Pak Benny or even Mr. Prabowo. It's actually a collective of all the Silat family, which is the leaders have to come together to make this thing a reality. Not for us. Definitely it's not for us. But we are here. We are still living. We will do as much as we can to make sure that Silat will preserve. We are in UNESCO already. Why not in Olympics? And it's all for the next generation. It's behind us. And then they will just carry out this thing beautifully, and hopefully this thing will be a fruitful for whatever we've been doing. To that, for those who are going for SEA Games, I will see you in SEA Games. For those who are not going for SEA Games, I will see you in
World Championship.
Malacca, Malaysia for World Championship. And of course, if you miss that, there will be another one, Indonesian Open, I guess in August.
Yes.
For everyone to, I think Pak Teddy and Pak Benny will welcome everyone for the international Indonesian Open. And then we can meet there. Of course, this whole year, we have so many championships. And of course, in Philippines, we have World Beach Championship in Cebu, if I'm not mistaken. Not in Cebu, in Philippines, in one of the islands. So I think December, we can look that. At the same time, we have the World Junior in Singapore. So there's a lot of activities going on. Please check the calendar. Please go into the website of the International Silat Federation. They have slowly they have built up the website, and please visit and give your comment, and we have to develop together Pencak Silat 1. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Sheikh. We have a great 2 hours chat with our guests from all over the world, where they have shared about their experience, their knowledge, and hope for the future direction of Pencak Silat. So keep up with SG Silat social medias, and to find out when is our next live or what other digital contents that we will be posting. So don't miss out on that. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I'm definitely looking forward to our Silat family gathering at the World Championship in July. Good night from Singapore, and stay safe, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you in Hanoi.